When I got to 5 versus 5, you never knew really.
Welcome back, everybody. It is hopefully a little bit quieter down here because tonight is a little bit different. We are going to be doing a cleaning stream. I've done a couple cleaning streams before. I'm not super convinced that I need to clean the roaster, but it's I mean, it's one of those things where you keep your equipment clean, keep it nice. It'll hopefully last a very long time for you. So that's what we're doing tonight. We are cleaning 2-horse MQT riled up. Thank you for joining in tonight. It's always good to have y'all. This is hopefully going to be one of the last couple of streams that I really need to keep an eye on attendance for, because pretty soon we're going to be hitting our marks for affiliate. So I'm going to switch over here. I'll switch over to this view, which hopefully you all can still hear me well. And then we are going to rotate this guy a little bit. First of all, we will unplug so what this plug is, it is for, and I'm going to kind of try to talk you through everything. Automod be sleeping. I'm pretty sure you've dropped the F word before. And I've had to okay it, so Automod is just like, all right, fine, I guess he can say fuck. Good to see you, Avgas Kool-Aid. Congrats on the new whip. I saw you posting in our chat about the new car you got. Very sweet ride, my friend. But yeah, so we've unplugged the cooling tray, so we're just going to kind of slide that over. And then I want to turn this whole thing to hopefully give you all a nice-ish view of what I'm doing so that you can kind of follow along. Step one is going to be cleaning this bad boy. So what we have here, this is the chaff collector on the roaster. So what the chaff collector does, if you can see in the back here, there's this impeller fan. What this impeller fan does is that this is the fan that is responsible for the exhaust. It is responsible for pulling air through the roaster and out this little chute here. You can kind of see there's a little chute here that I position underneath. You can't really see it, but I position it underneath my exhaust fan here. So that's what this is. If you can imagine, the air actually flows. It's like sucked in somewhere below the roaster here. No, I think it's sucked in up here. I haven't done a thorough teardown of this or a thorough breakdown of this, but it's sucked in. It's pulled over the top of the heating element, which rests on the bottom here. It's an induction heating element, and then it is pulled up into the roasting chamber and through the roasting chamber to help heat the coffee. And then it's pulled up through here and then through this little chute here. So it starts here, across the heating element, through the roaster, up through this chute, and then this chute pairs with this little tray here. Howdy, y'all. Super excited? Cool. It's going to be fun. But yeah, it pulls the air through this tube into here where all the chaff is, right? So it's pulling a lot of chaff with it through this chute here into this hole, and then this fan is pulling it through this removable filter right here. So as it gets sucked through, air can pass through this filter, but the chaff stays inside here. Now normally, after a roast, I don't do this on stream. Maybe I should sometime. But after a roast, this thing is like full of chaff. So it's like got all kinds of chaff in there. And then just the air and the vapor and stuff, or very fine coffee particles, as you can see here, make it through the fan and then out. I pulled this apart the other day, my exhaust fan, when I was cleaning it. Or no, not when I was cleaning it, but when I was moving everything around and rearranging everything here. It's filthy. I got to figure out how to clean it before it just dies on me. But my exhaust fan is filthy. But anyway. But yeah, it's good to see you all in here. Always good to have my friends in here. So yeah, that's how the exhaust works. So as you can imagine, a lot of that coffee dust gets pretty gross, and so we got to clean it. It's just how it goes. We can remove this impeller fan here. You got to line up. The fan is notched, so you can get a screwdriver in there, and I'll show you guys that in a little while. Yeah, or catches fire. Yeah, chaff is a problem, and it is a problem that can result in fire if you are not careful. Have not had that happen. Do not want to have that happen, but it has happened. So you got to kind of carefully line this up here. And I'm just using there's like a toolkit that comes with the bullet. So it includes all this stuff. We're just going to gently back that screw out. Awesome. I need somewhere to put this. Put it in a little coin pocket in your jeans. That's the spot where all of this stuff goes. All of the super secret stuff. But yeah, once that screws off, the impeller fan should come right out. There we go. And you can see she's gotten gross. She's supposed to be shiny. She's not. Gotten a little bit filthy there. And then this whole area here, you can see that on stream for sure. I mean, just like nasty. So we're going to clean all that. We'll start back here. The treasures, yeah. Thinking explodey grain elevators. I mean, it's not quite to that extent because grain elevators are huge, right? But I mean, chaff is pretty flammable. It's, you know, these coffee beans have like the molecular structure of wood, basically. And we're literally like just making them really hot as a part of coffee roasting. So it is no surprise to anybody that when you apply enough heat, they'll just catch fire. We do not roast nearly that dark, though. Right? That's a problem if you roast very, very, very dark. Okay. Just give it a quick wipe. Oh, I've literally got a little toothbrush for doing this. Oh yeah, we're getting all kinds of gunk. Freeing all kinds of gunk here. I'm gonna keep my vacuum on hand. I guess just pardon the noise for a second here. Okay, I should be back now. Just did a little bit of vacuuming. That's what I'll probably do when I need to vacuum. I'll just turn off the mic. Giving the roaster the old suck, yeah. Pulling it, because the air kind of comes through here a little bit, so you can kind of suck the air through this to get a lot of that out. And then what we will do, I don't like using cleaning chemicals when on parts that are going to interact with the coffee, but I will use it back here because coffee should never touch back here. So we are going to use a little bit of simple green. This stuff's the best. If I ever cleaned my stove, I'd use this. Seems to be really good at cutting into grease and stuff. Yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Getting in there real nice. Now, I don't necessarily care if this thing is spotless, right? Because obviously it's a tool, and the second I fire up my roaster again, it's gonna get gross, because that's how these tools work, right? But I will at least take a little bit of time to get some of the built up crud out. It's like washing a car. I understand washing cars, and I do get cars washed, but it's more of a it's not so much an aesthetic thing as it is a keeping, you know, road salt and such off of my cars. There's a lot of gunk in there. Maybe what I'll do is I'll try to just like sop it on and then really just let it soak. I'll just dab that on there. Stick that in there. Is that your normal toothbrush? Yeah. Isn't this what your toothbrush looks like? I've only had it. I haven't had it that long, like 3-4 years. Nice and seasoned, exactly. I use Laurie's. Next, we're going to clean this guy. So this is the actual filter. This thing gets real gross. I vacuum it off every roast, or every roast session. I'm spilling this all over my mat. I hope that's fine. I'm sure it can't hurt it. Yeah, we're just going to scrub this with our toothbrush. Really work that cleaning stuff in there. Really just work it in. coffee is naturally pretty oily, so we really want to get all those. You want to use a cleaning chemical that'll really cut that grease. Already seeing this pool up a little bit, so that's good. Oh, look at that. I just set it down for a second and it got gross. I mean, just look at how filthy this rag gets. There we go. Getting it real nice and clean. Again, we're not going for perfect here. Not good. Or it's not just good, but good enough. That's the saying. I had an old senior manager that used to say that at work. Don't make it just good. Make it good enough. But all we really care about here is this filter's ability to allow air through while preventing chaff from getting through. So if it ain't perfect, it ain't perfect. Some people have said soaking this in like espresso cleaner is really good for them. I could do that. I've got some espresso cleaner upstairs. But I think this will be good for another 40 pounds of coffee. Because that's about how often I've been cleaning this, is about every 40 pounds of coffee I run. And we're probably at like 38 pounds right now since the last time I cleaned it. Some would tell you that that is way more often than I need to. Those people are probably correct. But again, I'm a firm believer in trying to keep my equipment pretty clean. You pay a lot of money for a coffee roaster, so you want it to stay in nice shape. All right, let's try to scrub some of this crud off in here. There we go. Now we're seeing some progress. Little drinky poop. Doesn't taste like there's simple green in that drink. So that's good. Come on. That is gross. Yeah, there's just, I can feel it. It's like gummy up there. Come on. Clean up. It's looking pretty good. It's like cleaning the engine bay of your car, you know, it's like, you know, it doesn't need to be spotless because it's the engine bay of your car. But you want it nice enough where it's not going to inhibit the function. I think we're pretty much there here. We scrubbed at it for a little bit. I'd say we're good. This is pretty good too. You're starting to see the metal shining back. So, you know, spray paint the beans silver, all the chaff would blend. There you go. Actually, I don't know if the chaff would blend because I think as it would heat up, it would still release those oils and probably some pretty other nauseous fumes. Instead of spray painting the beans silver, what I should do when I clean it is instead of scrubbing it down like that, I spray paint the inside of that silver. That way it just coats it all and then it's all clean again. That would do it. All right. So the next step in cleaning this, I'm going to try to show this nice on stream. And I'll do my best, but this is kind of a tricky part. Is we are going to pull this front panel off and we are going to clean the inside of it. So unplug some of the cords, the USB cord that would run to my computer. If we were using roast time right now. Oh, that's another big thing. If you're going to clean your coffee roaster, make sure your coffee roaster is off, not currently powered. I didn't unplug mine, but I probably should. But I have like a switch, like a remote switch. If I turn this on, then the roaster would turn on. But for right now, not worried about it. Take out some of these accessories here. A little light, dryer. Part of me wants to try to clean this right now, but I think I'll wait. And then we are going to, this next part can get a little precarious. Need to remove these screws. Way too small of a screwdriver. This one maybe? Nope. Not that one. Hopefully this one. Huh. It is this one. I was like, oh, it's spinning freely. But no, it's just that the screw is like not very well in there. That's funny. Just gonna drop those in the chaff collector. I'm gonna also unscrew this because it's just another like weight that could be in the way. I don't love taking this off because it is a bit of a pain to put back on, but yeah, fun fact, all that holds this door down is the weight of this knob. It is a solid hunk of metal right here. Has a lot of heft to it. Yeah. We're going to take out this screw up here last. Go. Oh, yeah. Ta-da! That actually holds it in there relatively well. So yeah, we can get a good look inside the drum. You can see, here, let me drop it down, let you guys take a good look. This is the inside of the drum. It's got this bearing and a few washers here. You need to be careful about not losing these. Those are just spacer washers, really. The drum actually rests in this hole here, so right now it is just kind of loosely in there. We're going to vacuum it out again real quick. So let me turn my sound off. Part is you can really get a sense at the heft of this drum just by kind of holding it like this. Like you're only holding the front half of it, but you can really tell this sucker is heavy, right? I mean, you can see how thick this metal is on the drum here. It has some heft. So, we're not trying to clean the drum, right? Because the drum itself and those oils that it holds forms like, it helps the coffee move around a little bit better. It's a lot like cast iron. But we do want to clean this gunk off here. So we are going to, oh, is that supposed to be there? Yes. I thought that was a bean that had stuck there and toasted itself, but no. Upon further inspection, that is metal. That is supposed to be there. Because this part of the roaster does come in contact with the coffee, we are not going to be using simple green. Instead, we are going to be using 91% isopropyl alcohol. Funny enough, I actually haven't opened this one yet. That's surprising. Must have been using a different jug last time I was doing that. I can hear the cat in the background. Yeah, he's real sad. He's not allowed in here, and he knows it. I don't have any Q-tips. Riled Up 26. Could you do me a huge, huge, huge favor? Grab me some Q-tips. Bring them down here. That would be wonderful. If you don't mind. I should be able to get a good bit of it just with the paper towel, but the Q-tips really just help get in there. I also got to clean this impeller fan still. I'm wondering if I shouldn't. I'm going to spray this, and I'm going to set it off to the side so that it can kind of soak in. I think that'd be good. Yeah. Get a good coating on that. Set it down. Just let it soak in. Hello?
I was upstairs in the bedroom.
Thank you. You're wonderful.
Don't ask me for anything.
All right. Let's get a little bit of this onto here. Now, alcohol is a pretty good solvent, so you can see just right away how much of this gunk comes off with the isopropyl. It does involve a fair bit of scrubbing, but oh, that was gnarly smelling though. Smells like grandma's homemade whiskey. Put some hair on your chest. This is actually, all things considered, this is already pretty clean. But it's already pretty clean because we cleaned this 40 pounds ago. But you can see there's still quite a bit of gunk. Some people do just kind of wait until until the roaster starts acting funny, and then they clean it, because a lot of the sensors that are in here, like this right here, I'm not explaining anything as I'm going. This is the bean temp probe. So this is one temperature sensor, this probe here, and then there's an infrared sensor up here that's pointed at the bean mass. So the idea is this probe sticks in like right here, and it's always touching coffee beans to give you a sense of how hot things are. And then the IBTS sensor is an infrared sensor, right? Like those guns that you use to check temperatures. Whew, this is some hardy chemicals here. It's looking pretty good. Not done yet, but not too far. Whew. Maintenance time, I know it well. Yeah, absolutely. Nope, it's your roaster, Mr. Smoked Meats. Welcome in, Smoked Meats and Coffee. Your roaster probably can go quite a bit longer between cleanings than mine can. Maybe not longer, but can roast quite a bit more coffee than mine can before I need to clean. But yeah, I don't think you've, well, maybe you've been in here since the holidays, but how were your holidays, my friend? Trust it's all going well. I'm sure you're laughing at a bunch of us northerners here with all the snow we're dealing with right now. That sensor is an important part to clean, though. So we're going to make sure that that's good and clean. I'm glad they are behind us. The present is of concern. Yeah, that's a way to look at it. Yeah. Holidays can be stressful, so sometimes it is kind of nice to get back into the normal routine of things. Although I always find coming back this time of the year, I probably end up scheduling vacations. Like, oh man, I need to get away. I need to do something nice just for myself. A lot of times the holidays, you take holidays off, but they aren't necessarily for you, right? You're there to see family and see people maybe you haven't seen in a while, so. Should probably clean those two sensors more frequently. Maybe. I don't, like I said, a lot of people will wait until their sensors start acting up and use that as a sense of, oh, it's time to clean. Because, I mean, these roasters, these aren't toys, right? They're sturdy machines. So it'll, they require maintenance, but they're not like an easy bake oven where you need to like make sure it's super clean. These are sturdy, designed for a lot of heat, designed for, well, getting gross like this. This is particularly gross up here though. Holy smokes, look at that. Like, ugh. Now I could probably use a bit of simple green up here. I'm debating whether or not I want to though. Won't use simple green, but I'm not afraid to use this brush that has been near it. And simple green is a chemical that's listed by like the health department as something that you can use with items that come into contact with food. You're not supposed, right? It's not that it's like non-toxic, but it's when it dries, it's not going to hurt anything. What I'm more worried about is it imparting flavors that I don't want. Oh. I've changed thermocouplers. All right, wait. I have a shameful confession to make. You bought an espresso machine? We accept everybody here. Okay. But you could have done so much better, my friend. You're into good coffee. You've got a decent coffee grinder. All right, which impacts your burn if you are going for consistency, if you want to sell beans? Oh, it might give you bad temp readings. Yes, so if they got really gross, it might give me bad temp readings. I'd have to get it really dirty though. And it was doing that after I was done seasoning, because I did like 10 pounds of a seasoning roast, which 10 pounds isn't a ton of coffee, but I was roasting it so dark that it wasn't even so much creating steam anymore as it was creating smoke. And so it was, I mean, you could literally see the smoke pouring out the back of the roaster as it was being cleaned, like billowing smoke. That was before I had this nice vent fan too. And so it was just a cheap little like inline duct fan, and it was not cutting the cloth. And like you could see the smoke throughout this room. Oh yeah, that was funny. But yeah. Oh man, I missed a follower. My sincere apologies. 10 minutes ago, Miguel de Boca 13Z followed me. If you're still around, thank you for the follow, my friend. It is good to have new faces here. Yeah. It'd have to get pretty cruddy to affect it. But yes, they should be cleaned very regularly. I've changed 2 thermocouplers in 20 years on the San Fran. Yeah, I believe that. I mean, those things, as sturdy as the bullet is, it's nothing like one of those, like, hefty roasters. It's more when I just, roll out of bed. Not the best. Yeah, it's they're not that bad. Bought it with the frequent flyer miles. Heck yeah, my friend. Heck yeah. All right. Okay. Where were we? We were cleaning this guy out. Doop, 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 doop. Well, Avgas Kool-Aid, if you are ever looking for espresso machine or coffee grinders for espresso machine recommendations, you are among good friends here. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of opinions. Did I just forget to clean this the last couple times? Because this is the 3rd time now that I've cleaned my roaster. And this is gross in here. But this is also a really finicky part of the roaster to clean. Because you got to keep this cord here in mind. You can't like remove this and really torque on it. Otherwise I'd have to go into the panel and like unplug stuff. Of course that'll be, yeah. That's fair. That's what I did with this roaster. I mean, I could have bought this roaster months before I did, but I wanted to be in a position where I knew where I was going to live, and I knew I wasn't going to be moving anytime soon. So that's fair. But if you think, espresso is one of those rabbit holes that you can really dive into. There are a lot of, I mean, the home espresso game these days is insane. It got crazy during COVID, and it's just been getting even more insane. Like the little mini bug. Get out of here, little fly. The amount of people that have gotten into espresso in the last like 2 years is just ridiculous. So there's lots of great content out there for espresso. And lots of great grinders, right? You've got companies like Easy Presso that have come out with a lot of really nice hand grinders that are absolutely destroying their competition. So much so that their competition started suing them to slow them down. All right. Yeah. A lot of, I mean, I think James Hoffman's growth on YouTube has largely been in, well, okay. So he's putting out a lot of great accessible content, right? I don't feel like I need to be a coffee expert to understand what James Hoffman is telling me. I will give a great example though. Before the pandemic, not before the pandemic. A while ago, James Hoffman released like a best espresso setup under $400 or something like that. Like, here's what to look for. Maybe try to find certain used machines or something like that to get you really good espresso under $400, which is hard to do. He did that by finding a Gaja Classic, and he spoke raving reviews about the Gaja Classic on that video. Before that video released, I was looking at buying a Gaja Classic that had a broken pump, just a simple like $20 pump that was broken. And the guy who was nearby me, he wanted $25 for this broken machine. And I was like, I gotta go do this. But at the time I was living in an apartment. I didn't have a super nice place. I wasn't that into espresso yet. And so I was like, oh, do I do it? Do I not do it? I ended up passing on it. $25 espresso machine. I should have bought it because that is like what people were getting those older machines for before that video launched. After that video launched, it was impossible to find one of those machines under $350. Impossible. Like even the used ones. I bought my Gaja Classic refurbished for I think it was $350 on Whole Latte Love. Would highly recommend that. If you're looking at getting one, anybody, if you're looking at getting one from this like refurbished from them, great. Right? They have great support. I've asked them a few questions since I got it. Immediate responses via chat. Great, helpful feedback from real humans on the other line. It's not like you're going to just end up interacting with a bot. Yeah, highly recommend. But anyway, where was I going with that? Yeah, but even now, so I paid $350 for it refurbished. If I was to turn around and sell it, I could easily get $300 for it. Easily. Which is ridiculous. It's used. Comes with no warranty. I don't know who's buying these espresso machines for so much. My Flair, if you guys remember, long time ago now, like a year and a half ago or something, I had a Flair lever espresso machine. Loved it. It was great, but I knew I was upgrading to the Gaja, so I sold it. I paid $120 for this machine. Flair went to, they upped their prices by like, not much, like 10, 15% or something like that. I turned around a year, like months after I bought my Flair, and I sold it for what I paid for it. And I bought it new. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So I don't know. What am I saying? I guess if you're thinking about pulling the trigger on an expensive piece of coffee gear, get one that'll hold its value. Gaja Classics seem to be holding their value really well. Any of the prosumer machines hold their value really well. Yeah. But no, James Hoffman can have very fast, very serious impacts on the coffee market. When he releases an opinion on something, it becomes gospel. Which I kind of agree with. I kind of don't. There's been a couple times, and I can't think of what it was offhand right now, but there's been a couple times where he'll say something, and I'm like, I don't know that I agree with that. Just based on my own limited knowledge. But a lot of times the coffees he's dealing with are like super high-end espresso machines. Before him, it was David Schomer, yeah. Or I know in the coffee roasting world, he still has a lot of clout, but Scott Rao, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's considered like the point of truth for coffee. Like what he says about roasting goes. And again, you kind of got to take what he does with a grain of salt because he's dealing with super high-end machines, very specialty coffees, often very light roasted coffees. It's always funny though when you watch those like big YouTubers or big content creators talk about their pour over strategies. You watch any big YouTuber talk about pour overs, and so much of it is just, oh, I spent weeks researching. I brewed dozens of batches of coffee, and they're all like essentially the same brew method with like a little tiny tweak. With the exception, I'd say, of Lance Hedrick. Some of his methods have been a little bit unconventional. Result in great coffee, but you need to have a great coffee grinder to brew with some of his methods. There are so many that have that effect. I follow a guy that refurbishes old iPods who went viral on YouTube. Is it Dank Pods? Are we talking about Dank Pods? Because I watch his videos all the time. But yeah, no, you can't find them for less than a few $100, which is great because I've got 2 of them sitting upstairs. It might be, yeah. There's another great content creator out there, my friends. Dank Pods. Go check him out. Not even remotely coffee related. These days, barely even iPod related. But, yeah, he makes some great content. He'll find old... His big thing now is he'll buy, like, old MP3 players on eBay and then show off how, like, interesting they were. It's very interesting to see, like, what the cell phone market and, like, the MP3 player market looked like pre-iPhone, pre-iPod. I mean, those Apple products, they just had such an influence on how things looked and felt, how we interacted with technology. So much different pre-Apple. Well, not pre-Apple, but, like, pre-Steve Jobs, I'd say. Not even pre-Steve Jobs, but just like before he was really involved in it. Oh yeah, this is... You can just see dark cleaning solution just flowing down. I am never going to get this completely clean. And you know what? That's okay. Because no matter how clean I get it, it's going to get dirty again pretty fast. I don't want to get alcohol on my rubber gasket here. Yeah, you know what? There comes a time where you got to say, good enough is good enough. And I think for at least this part, we are at that point. What year were you born? Oh, Avgas Kool-Aid got a bounce. Happy scrubbing. Good to see you, my friend. What year was I born? I was born in 1996. I'm 26 years old. But even in that short time, like I started really caring about technology. Let me think. I bought a laptop and started kind of diving into that stuff when I was in like the 7th grade. So I would have been what? I was 10 and 5th. I would have been like 12 years old. I have an iPod your age. Yeah. I mean, they look sweet. Like, when did the iPod get released? Because there were some early MP3 players. Yeah, the first one came out October 23rd, 2001. That was the original iPod. But like even back in the 90s, they were putting flash storage on little pocket devices, and like you could just walk around with tons of music in your pocket. It was crazy. Yeah. Absolutely crazy. But you look at some of those MP3 players from like, you know, early 2001, 2000, 1999. early stuff. I mean, this was, not only was it like, not only was it super nifty, poor specs by today's terms, and insanely expensive. Like, it did not make sense to own an iPod. You know, you would just probably bought it. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah. When I was 5 years old. But yeah, even since I started caring about technology when I was, what, 12 years old? So I would have been 10 in 2006. So yeah, when I was 11, 12, 13 years old, I started getting into technology. And just seeing how far things have come since then. My grandmother still uses the first laptop that I bought. It had a Intel Core 2 Duo. That was before they started using the I whatever markers. Yeah, Core 2 Duo processor, 4 gigs of memory, and a 320 gig hard drive. I bought it with that one specifically because 320 gig hard drive was like huge in 2007, 2008. Huge hard drive. That was insane. Why would you ever need that much space? And now you can get a solid state drive that's like, you can get a 250 gig solid state drive for like $19 these days. It's insane. Yeah, crazy how far things have come. 1996 Duke Nukem. That's a reference I don't quite get. I'm not big into gaming. I like technology and stuff. Never got super into gaming. Because again, I had a Core 2 Duo laptop. I wasn't playing much games on that. Played a lot of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on that thing. I played so much San Andreas on that laptop that I actually got really, no, it wasn't that laptop. Wasn't that laptop? Because I bought another laptop when I went off to college. So I bought the first one when I was in the 7th grade. And then when I was like a senior in high school, I bought a new laptop. Because at that point, the laptop was like 6 years old. And if I was going off to college, I needed something decent. And yeah, I got so good at playing not CSGO, San Andreas on my laptop without a mouse. I would like play with the trackpad, and I beat the game a few times playing on a trackpad. It was insane. Watching, yes, you were one of the few people that saw that because Cam Bamron, my freshman year roommate. Yeah, I remember you were watching me. You're like, you're playing that on a trackpad, and then I started doing it, and you're like, what the? I gotta pivot this. Oh, by the way, what I'm doing right now is I am cleaning out this exhaust chute. This is just a bottle brush. Yeah, it didn't even dawn on me when I was playing San Andreas on that I could like plug in a mouse and it'd probably be way easier. Quake 2 and 3 were great stress relievers for me then. Yeah. And video games have always been solid stress relievers. I try not to get super into them because I know a lot of people who, I mean, not a lot of the people that I hang out with, but I knew a lot of people growing up that spent a lot of time playing video games. And, you know, I get it, but I would never want that to be like a main hobby of mine. I'm glad that I got into coffee roasting and stuff because if during the pandemic I was not able to, because my old hobby was like target shooting and stuff. I did a lot of marksmanship practice. I even competed a couple times in some sporting clay competitions. But during the pandemic, that got hard because ammo prices shot through the roof. And so I started getting into coffee. And I'm way more into this than I ever was into firearm sports. Still enjoy them, but I enjoy this a lot more. This is way more satisfying to me. Shooting is fun. Shooting is absolutely fun. When done safe and responsibly, shooting is a great time. And I still partake fairly regularly these days, right? Things have kind of calmed down. Ranges have opened up again. Not that a lot of those ranges closed down in the first place, but they're open again. So yeah, right now we are just scrubbing this thing out best we can. Some people say to actually, you can't see it from this angle, but there's a, well, you saw the little thing that protrudes out. It is technically just a single metal piece. You can pull it out. A Leo specifically says not to do that. So if you ever see videos or, you know, instructions online about removing this tube, I'm not going to say don't do it, because I'm sure you can get it way cleaner if you remove it. But understand that you're probably voiding your warranty if you do that. And that you're not supposed to. There's like insulation on the inside that kind of, when you remove it, it tears that. Looking for some hog meat. You know, out in, I think it's in Texas. It's got to be in Texas. What am I? Who am I kidding? You can go hog hunting from helicopters, shooting automatic rifles, and they sell it as like a trip. So like the helicopter companies they have licenses for, you know, pre-1980 whatever machine guns and helicopter licenses and such, and a lot of the farm, like the ranch owners, because wild hogs are such a nuisance, you can go hunt them from helicopters, which just sounds like the most fun that you could possibly have. Because yeah, hogs down there, they are invasive. They tear up fields. They make it hard on farmers. They are like the definition of the invasive species down there. Well, maybe not invasive. They might be native, but they're causing a lot of problems in those ecosystems. Got a lot of cleaning chemical in here, so I'm trying to dry it out a little bit. Need something that I can use to like push this all the way through. Hello, Mr. Broom. Okay. That ain't big enough. What if I take... Nope, this does not have a removable head. Will this come off? Nope. What can I use to push that through? A piece of my ceiling, perhaps? Leftover drop ceiling from another project? Let's see. Look at that. A perfect fit. Is this voiding my warranty, Leo? Joey from Friends. Meat? Good. Yeah. Okay. We got that fairly dry. Again, it's impossible to get this thing completely clean because I'd have to get way in there and scrub the corners, but for what we're trying to do here, it's pretty good. I mean, I could keep like trying to agitate it a little bit more with my bottle brush wherever I set that down, right here. Sows are good to eat, the males are foul. I didn't know that. The more you know. Back where I grew up, there was actually a bison farm just down the road from me. And I know that they sold the meat once in a while. I always wondered how that tasted. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's getting good and clean. Clean roaster is a happy roaster. Bison is red and expensive, but really good if not overcooked. Good to know. Whew, boy. Just a little bit at a time. The goal being just to not rush things. Okay, there we are. Beautiful. Good enough. Good enough, I would say. So, let's think. How do I want to approach? Oh, I still have this to clean. Which we already sprayed it down pretty good. So I'm confident that this should clean up pretty nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. And, you know, I could take Q-tips and really get in here. Might a little bit. Just to get some of the residual grime off, but again, it's a machine that's designed to get dirty. And it's designed to not put up a fight while doing it. So, I'm not super worried. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll let you guys get a close-up of what's going on here. You can see we're just kind of taking that in there, really cleaning that up nice. Yeah, look how shiny that's getting. Well, a lot of that's just light reflecting off the ceiling, but take my word for it, it's looking nice. That's simple green though. That's some good stuff. Really just cutting into the grease. Boy, oh boy. I should get an ultrasonic cleaner for some of these things. Pretty sure you can get those at like Harbor Freight. Pretty cheap. Back when I was partaking in my former hobby of marksmanship more regularly, I considered purchasing a hydrosonic cleaner because tearing apart trigger group parts and cleaning them thoroughly was always a bit of a chore. But if I could have just dumped them all into a hydrosonic cleaner and hit go, that would have been pretty nice. Well, who doesn't love the smell of hops number 9, right? Getting this nice and cleaned up here. Again, I won't say it's as best as I can, but it's as good as I need to. That's what I'd say. I keep saying that. I feel like I'm just justifying it to myself that I'm not cleaning this super thoroughly. Because there's a bit of a perfectionist inside of me that really wants this to, like, sparkle, right? Like, I took this apart when I first got it, and I know how nice it looked. And maybe I'm just wanting that again. Cleaning it super, super nice. There we go. That's pretty good for the fins at least. Time to now get that inside. Oh yeah. And just a quick wipe and you can see like how much gunk there was in there. But because we sprayed it earlier, it is coming off very nicely. Very, very nice. Yeah, letting this puppy soak for a bit. That was a good move. I should have done that with this thing. Maybe I still will. There. Shiny. Pretty. Oh, I don't think I... Well, I'm going to spray it onto the rag. Ooh. we go. I'd say that's pretty good. I think that's the last thing that I need to clean on the inside of the roaster. Other than just me continuing to be picky about all this back here. But I think I'm kind of at a point where I need to let this go. Yeah, let it go. Let it go. This looks pretty clean. Is there anything I need to do before I put this back on? The bearings. This bearing is pretty dirty. Now I don't want to get this like saturated in isopropyl alcohol because there's oil inside of the bearing from the factory that will get removed if I get super in there. But you want it to kind of spin freely. This is a cheap bearing. If I'm being honest, this is not the best bearing. I've seen better bearings than frickin' fidget spinners. All right. All right. Put all this back in there. 3 spacer washers. I saw somebody get this by putting the spacer washers back there and the bearing back into the roaster first, like into the front panel. Is there a lip there? There is. Okay. So I'm going to give that a shot. Did I miss the barrel removal? We're not removing this. This stays put. Because we don't need to clean the inside of that too much. That stays pretty well seasoned. Oh wow, that is the smoothest that I think that has ever popped in there. Let's do our best to kind of get this in there. And then get one of my screws inserted. But no, great question. But the drum stays put for this part of the roast, or for cleaning the roaster. Maybe one day I'll break my bullet and we'll have to do a deep dive into it to repair it, which is not unheard of, right? It's a tool. Tools need repair sometimes, so maybe someday. But for today, we are good. So I'm going to kind of try to do this in a rogue bean. That's another thing, is sometimes beans will wedge themselves inside there. So there's a little gap here that kind of lets some of the chaff fall that collects along the edge of the roaster. Okay. So we'll go across like that. Put this screw over here. And Remember, we're not tightening this too far down. No ugga-duggas here. Would hate to strip out a screw. That would be a tragedy. There we go. Next part is installing the weighted handle. Leo did not do this. Leo made a mistake with this part here. They could have just had this threaded thing bottom out on the inside of this roaster, but instead this hole is drilled all the way through, so you need to hold the screw on one side. You need to get it where you want it first. Leo, if you ever watch this video, I want to know why you did this, because this is just frustrating. Could have just made this. Oh my gosh, that's another thing too, is it'd sit flush nicer, because if this is too far in there, it'll ram into the barrel as it's spinning. It's just a design problem. There. That's back in there. Oh. So now we can open and close that nicely. But yeah, it's funny to me that the only thing that holds this door shut during a roast, holds it shut pretty nice, but it's just the weight of this handle. Otherwise, the beans would come tumbling out. Okay. We're going to clean this next too. I wanted to have a little look at this. You can see it got a little bit gross. It's rubber. I don't want to clean it with anything that'll like ruin the rubber. But I do want to clean it a little bit. So, little spritz of our cleaning solution on a towel. Have this thing looking brand new in no time. Perfect. Oh, gotta put the fan back on, but let me. This thing is heavy. Let you guys again see the butt end of this thing. There's still so much crud in there. Urgh. I can't fight the urge. Gotta spray it more. I don't take this thing apart that often. I can spend a little bit of time cleaning it up nice. That looks much better. Much, much, much better. Get the impeller fan back on. Well, the impeller fan. All right. Another poor design decision by Leo. All right. Oh no, this is keyed. Well, this is keyed. Right, so ideally you want this part, it's got like a flat edge on it. You want that facing this part here so that you can get the screw in and out, right? So you see they got a little cut there so you can physically get a screwdriver in between those fans. All they would have had to do was key this hole here in the same way that this is keyed, and then it would go on the right way every time. But because they chose not to do that, you can actually put this on in the wrong orientation. So right now it is correct. Coin pocket. It's like, where the heck did I put that thing? This is another part that sucks. I don't know how they could have made this better, but this part sucks. Oh, not that one. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. place this piece back on. Just got a pull to empty thing here. That was a big complaint that a lot of people had, was on earlier models of the bullet, they didn't have anything here. It was just this little metal tab, and you had to like grab this tab, and it was a pain. And so they put this tiny little flag on here and then raised the price by like $700. They actually did do that. When the Leo bullet released, it's $2,800. I get, obviously it's more than just this. There were some other things that they did, along with like inflation, cost of parts and stuff, and COVID made everything hard. But they started including this and raised the price to $3,500. So there were a lot of people out there that bought R1, like the earlier models of the bullet, or the like these bullets at $2,800. Then when a Leo upped the price to $3,500, all of a sudden people regularly fetch $3,000 for an old bullet. So you buy the coffee roaster, you use it for a while, $700 tag, pog, yeah, no. Buy it, use it for a while, price spikes, and you sell it for more than you paid for it. Even though I was literally just complaining about that. Or talking about how cool it was that coffee stuff holds its value. But that's it, folks, for this part. We've cleaned everything here. I'll put this back like that for now. We do still need to clean this because this is dirty. There. Look at that. It pooped. I make myself laugh at these jokes. It's a lot of why I started streaming down here, or well, just streaming coffee stuff in general, was I would be roasting coffee or just making coffee or whatever, and just talking to myself. And I was like, hey, you know, I could put a camera on me. It was a combination of that and wanting to be able to like record myself, especially with the roasting. All right. This I've cleaned out pretty good every time I've roasted, but while I've got it out and unplugged, ooh, interesting. I've never seen the bottom of this. I left a little bit of debris there. Not too bad, but definitely glad I did that. Because again, how often do I really tear this thing apart? Okay. Put this filter. This filter is still doing all right, in my opinion. You can probably tell, maybe from the camera, that this is divoting in a little bit. So you can tell it's starting to thin. I have an extra one here. This is another one. I don't care. Most people that I know don't even put those in when they're roasting. Hello. Is there anything caught back there? No? Good. Spin that back. There we go. It's pretty well lined up with my vent. But yeah, if they were going to make that tag $700 or up the price that much, they should have made it a Supreme tag. That'd been pretty cool. Can you imagine this thing coming with Supreme merch? I remember I was talking with somebody back in school who was wearing some Supreme merch, and I was like, you know, no judgment, right? No judgment, right? Because you know, you spend the money on the things that are important to you, and if that's what's important to you, then absolutely spend the money on it. But I asked him, I was like, how is that shirt so much different than like the shirt I'm wearing right now? And he tried to get me on like how Supreme made much more high quality items. And I was like, that I don't believe. That I do not believe. Oh my God. Stupid. Stupid. That's okay. That's easy to take off. That is an easy thing. So, for reference, this drops in there. Kind of press it in a little bit, but kind of press fits in there in its little groove, and then it goes back in there next. Ooh, sneezing coming. Whew. Ta-da! All right, time to turn this thing on. Make sure it's still working. We're not going to do any roasting tonight. Usually they're better quality, but they cost exponentially more just because of its name. There are some things that are more expensive because they are better quality, or like you do expect the quality to improve, but like a lot of it's just for flexing. like Whistling Diesel's merch. It sounds like he's got some nice shirts and some nice hoodies and things like that, but wants a lot for him, which I respect, right? This is not exactly an expensive sweatshirt. I like it. It's not super high quality though. Like usually these sweatshirts blow out around here. You can see this is starting to peel a little bit already. Just is what it is. But anyway, what we're looking to see here is that the machine is spinning properly, which all that appears to be in there correctly. So it should spin, but that it's not bashing into that, or that the impeller fan's not caught on anything. So that's what we're looking for. Oh, I was worried for a second. Couldn't remember if that thing comes on or not. Okay. I was like, oh my God, did I wreck that? That's spinning. Doesn't sound like it's catching on anything, which is good.
Roasting has started.
Kick that fan out. Impeller fan is spinning full tilt, and I am not feeling any, or not hearing anything there. Just kicking out plenty of air.
Roasting finished.
Make sure this is cooling. All right. There we go. Everything is put back together correctly. Backed off. Another thing. I'm sitting here, I'm having a rant about Oleo night tonight. They could have put a switch somewhere on this. Like, I feel like, because once you plug it in, it starts doing this, right? So even when it's off, I'll show you what it still does.
The bullet is now ready.
Yeah. So this is its off state. There is still a little fan in here that is cooling this board to make sure it doesn't overheat. That's dumb. Just power the whole thing off. It's okay. Just power it off. Instead, I've got a little remotely controlled switch. Yeah, so that's good. I'm going to start cleaning some things up here. I'll stick around as long as I can, or as long as I feel is relevant. I'm going to kind of clean some things, but yeah, I appreciate y'all joining in. We're not jumping off yet, though. Now it's just cleaning this toothbrush a little bit, because this thing gets filthy. That's a little better. Again, that's just for agitation. I'll put this guy back in. It's funny to me that this is literally just a USB fan, or a USB light. Like, it's just a goofy little light that they include. It's funny to me. I don't know. I get it, right? You want light to be on that, but come on now. You couldn't have done something a little bit nicer. This is there. Yes. So I ordered some new coffee. It is different than most other coffees that I've roasted. And I'm doing this because it's a kind of coffee that I want to offer at the market. I don't know that it'll do super well with most people though, because it's coffee that I'm going to roast pretty light. It's a Kenya. And those African, especially a lot of the East African coffees, need to be roasted pretty light. So, to really, they've got a lot of like vibrant acidity to them and a lot of sweetness that really you can't pull out in darker roasts. So, that'll be interesting. It'll be fun. I'm not used to roasting light roast coffee. A little more delicate of a procedure, but should be good nonetheless. I am going to squirrel these away down here so that I don't have to think about them next time. A little bit of that left in there. Just gotta yeet. So clean. Yeah, it is clean. It'll be nice. It'll be nice to have a clean roaster. Not, again, it wasn't that dirty, but it's I think it's going to be a good habit of me to clean this every few roasts, every 20 pounds or so, or every 40 pounds. So it'll be like 2 big bags of coffee. That's back on there. I do store it in plastic because I'm extra. And since I usually wait until it's like cooled down, but since I never heated it up, it's already cooled down. Just because, you know, you never know. It's not so bad since we moved in, but before we moved in, I don't think people spent a whole lot of time in this room. And so it was just kind of dirty, right? The whole room was kind of like dusty, and you'd get bugs, and it's been a long time, but we used to get mice. So, you know, we've handled the mice problem. If you drink my coffee, guaranteed, no mice. But running around the floor once, like you could tell, there was mice at some point, and we caught a single mouse in here once. So, out of precaution, we put this on. Okay. I think that's it. Everything else I just got to set away and be done with. So I think it is time to sign off. You know, I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in here tonight. We are that close to affiliate. Twitch says I only needed one more stream. But like before I streamed, Twitch said I only needed to stream on one more day to get affiliate. So fingers crossed we're there. But when I looked at my actual metrics, they didn't show that I had enough streams. If that's like Twitch's metrics they're trash, right? Like the stream data that they give you, it's trash. Regardless, if it's not this stream that pushes us over the edge and makes us hit all the requirements, it'll be the next stream, which will be sometime this weekend. I'm going to roast some more coffee. Either way, thank you all for being here. Thank you all for helping me hit the number of followers that I needed to hit in order to make it this far. Much appreciated. We're very excited. I've got some very exciting news for the next stream. I've been commissioning some work that I'm going to unveil on the next stream. So stay tuned for that. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening. We're rolling into the weekend, so I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Hope your coffee stays strong and your love for one another stays even stronger. So